Hey guys, James here from TCGU University. Come back at you with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be showing you Jeff's Scorpion deck. So let's get into it. Okay guys, Scorpion is a 628 with Death, Evil, and Fire. He has 3 abilities. E, lose 2 vitality. If your attack is blocked, your opponent loses 2 vitality. E, lose 1 vitality. This attack gets +2 or -2 speed. And Desperation E, your Desperation attack gets 6 damage. This card just allows you to block better, burn your opponent on block to make sure that they get punished for blocking you. So like the idea is if they really do want to block, you get something out of it. They don't just block it for free, they have to burn for it. And then when you hit Desperation, all of your Desperation attacks get bigger, meaning everything is a card they have to block, meaning everything is an attack they have to burn 2 to block with. So the style of the deck is a burn throw deck. We'll put him up here just in front. Yeah. 3, I Grant You Death. I Grant You Death is a 3/5/1 mid-block card that says respond, lose 2. After your opponent plays a responsibility, they lose 4 vitality. This card is super strong and speeds up the ability to burn your opponent to death. It has another ability. It only really works well with 1 card in our deck, but E, remove. If your attack's printed damage is exactly double its printed speed, draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. Your opponent discards the top 3 cards of their deck. You'll almost never use that ability because you always want to burn your opponent and get them as fast to 0 as possible. Like I said, we're a throw deck, so we're going into 4, Flight of the Wicked. Flight of the Wicked is a 5/3, 4 mid for 6, Desperation 4 throw with a 3 low block. E, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. This attack gets +1 damage for each of your opponent's face-down foundations. So this one gets stronger depending on what your opponent does during their turns. But also gets the 6 damage from this. So as a base, if your opponent has no face-down foundations, this is a 4 high for 12 as a throw that you can also pay on. That they lose 2 if they block. So if they don't want to take 12, they have to take 8. And 8's still really big. Next we got Vicious Madness. It's a 5/3, 4 mid for 8, Desperation 4 throw with a 3 low block as well. E, lose 2 vitality, or this attack cannot be partially blocked, meaning your opponent has to full block this attack. So with Scorpion, this is a 4 for 14. No, 4 for 14. Meaning on a partial block, they take 9. 7 from this, 2 from Scorpion. Nuts. Next is not a desperation throw, but 4 Draining Vector. It's a 5/3, 2 mid for 5 with a 2 mid block that says E, discard momentum. If this attack's speed is greater than its printed speed, your opponent loses 3 vitality, meaning we burn. So you lose 1 to make your opponent lose 3, basically. You lose 1, give it 2 speed of Scorpion, they lose 3. You lose 2 more to make it to where if they block this, they burn. And then you hit them for 5 because they don't want to block and take 5 anyways. Because a half block deals 3 and the damage, the block deals 2. Next is another Desperation throw, but Minion Grab. It's a 4/3, no block, 3 low for 3 with an ally Desperation 3 Fury throw. Makes it a 3 low for 9 with Scorpion. E, lose 1 vitality. If it's not blocked, your next attack this turn gets +2 damage and -2 to its Desperation rating, making it very easy to play. And then E, lose 2 vitality. If this attack is blocked, your opponent loses 2, which is basically a double down on Scorpion's ability itself. And then the last attack in our deck, Thundering Impact. It's a 4/3, 2 high block, 3 high for 4, EX1 slam throw, deadlock power for 4. If its speed is greater than printed, it gets 3 damage on its own, meaning you lose 1 to give it 2 speed, making it a 5 for 4, and you make it a 5 for 7 with itself. Super strong card, always deals 4 practically. Onto some more damage, burn stuff. We got 3 Unwittingly Evil. It's a 3/4 with a 3 low block. We mainly use it for the respond flip. After your opponent plays a card, they lose vitality equal to the combined keyword ratings printed on that card. This just says that our opponent's not allowed to play things with a lot of keyword stuff on it. Like this one, like Thundering Impact on its own would lose the person 5 on its own. EX1 and Powerful 4 would lose 5. Things like Missile Launcher is like lose 6. Like you get to deal a lot of damage with this if your opponent plays big keyword things, especially like in the gauge area where like this has gauge 4 and it has EX2 on it. That's 6 itself. It's just like it's just really strong. You got 1 Undying Rage. It's a 3/6, 1 mid block. Commit if the top card of your discard pile has Desperation or Fury, add it to your hand. This says pick up attacks. Pick up really cool things that we get to throw at our opponent. And then Scorpion E, discard momentum, gain 2 vitality. It's playable while committed. It just says we get to extend our life and extend our playability on our abilities itself. 2. Demanding Submission. It's a 2/4 with a no block. Respond Destroy after your opponent plays a keyword ability. Cancel its effects. If that keyword ability had a rating, your opponent loses vitality equal to that rating. This just says if our opponent tries to stun us, we cancel it and they lose whatever the stun rating was. They try to powerful, multiple. They try to breaker. This cancels reversal, but they don't burn for anything. It gives you the ability to just make sure they slow down a little bit, because they have to think about what they play before they play it. Then we got 3 Servant of Eris. It's a 2/5 with a 3 mid block. Desperation 1. Commit. Your throw attack gets +4 damage, making our throws beefy. And then flip. Lose 2 vitality. Flip one of our opponent's foundations. If our opponent has anything we don't want to have to deal with, we can just flip it. As well as if it puts things face down for like Vicious Flight of the Wicked, or we lose more vitality to put ourselves closer to Desperation and get more out of our Scorpion. It just gives us a lot of versatility on how we play our character. My favorite card out of Scorpion support, Blood for Blood. It's a 2/5 with a 2 mid block. The only ability that matters on this card is lose 2 vitality. If your attack is blocked, your opponent loses 2 vitality. This card helps push us into Desperation. We can lose 2 here, lose 2 from Scorpion, lose 1 more from Scorpion, and pay 5 total. Puts us at 23 on just our first attack, meaning on our next one it's 18, and then the next one is 13, meaning by the third attack we can do Desperation stuff. Or, like, obviously if we have other abilities, get there sooner, or if we just want to make sure our opponent burns for 4 if they're going to block, that way they lose, and do cool stuff like that. Just, again, more versatility with how fast or when we kill our opponent. 1 Psychedelic Mushroom, 2/5, 2 mid block. When Psychedelic enters the staging area, it chooses a foundation or asset and copies it basically. And until the original asset leaves, it is a copy of that asset and does all the cool stuff that asset does. Or foundation, I guess. 1 Coludus. It's a 2/5, 1 mid block that says respond once per turn after an attack deals damage. All of our attacks are throws, so they're very likely to deal damage. Your opponent's going to flip one of their foundations or assets, meaning we get rid of problem cards and we limit our opponent's options. At Deadlock, we can give our throw or weapon attacks +6 damage, which means if we ever end up with our opponent at Deadlock and us at Desperation, all of our attacks get 12 damage, and that's crazy. It has Desperation on its own, so that's pretty cool too. We got 1 Isern Russell. It's a 1/5 with a 0 low block. Breaker 1. Respond, lose 1 vitality, do cool combo stuff. We don't play combo, so who cares? And then Desperation E, commit. Add this attack to its owner's momentum. Only playable if your opponent has 1 or more momentum. This just says if our opponent has momentum, we get to abort attacks, and we choose not to deal with certain things. Then we got 2 World Without Battle. It's a 2/5, the 2 low block that says flip. This deck with the keyword ability gets +2 or -3 speed, making it harder to block or easier to block. And then Desperation E, if there's at least 1 face down card in your card pool, draw a card. I don't know if we'll ever get a face down card in our card pool, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, we're going to talk about Faisel Monster. Faisel Monster works really well with Scorpion as well. It's a 2/5 with a 2 high block. Has 3 playable once per turn playable abilities. Respond. This attack is -1 speed. You can pay 1 more to give it another -1, so -2 total basically. And then Deadlock form. Your opponent discards a card, and Desperation E changes the zone of your attack, making it harder to block. Or if like you're scared to prepare to fight, messing with your stuff, you can change your attacks to mid, and then prepare fight can't do anything about it. You can do some cool things with it. It also helps you get to Desperation easier and at the pace you want to do it. Same thing with Outworld's Eris. It's a 2/5 with a 2 low block. Enhance, remove, lose X vitality, add 1 foundation or asset from your opponent's staging area to their hand. X equals the printed difficulty of the card. This just says get rid of problem cards and lose vitality and put us closer to the desperation or into the realm of where we want to be. Then we got one last of his kind. It's a 2/5 with a 2 low block. E, lose 2 vitality. This attack gets -4 damage. Has a desperation E of your attack gets +2 damage, and a deadlock E of your attack gets +2 damage. This just basically says slow your opponent down just enough to put us outside the range of desperation to where we can put ourselves there on our turn and then take full advantage of it. We got 3, know your objective. It's a 1/5 with a 3 high block. E, commit. This attack gets -2 speed. Desperation E, commit. Flip 1 foundation in your opponent's staging area with a damage penalty. This just says at desperation we can get rid of things like refusing to let go and last of his kind and stuff like that, just to make sure that we don't get our big throw attacks don't get messed with. But it also has a speed debuff in case we need just a little bit extra speed debuff, or if we don't want to pay for our own speed debuff. 2 Azure Nightmare. It's a 1/6 with a 3 high block. We can discard a card to ready it once per turn, playable while committed. And then if it's discarded, our opponent loses 1, and if it's stunned, our opponent loses 2. None of those abilities can put our opponent to 0. It's just a good spam with a 3 high block that checks a 6 and readies itself. And also kind of burns, so it works for our deck. We got 4 Orphaned Alchemists. It's a 1/6. That card's not here. I think it would be. 1/6, 2 low block. E, flip, reveal the top card of our deck. This just lets us confirm what's on top of our deck. And then the bottom ability kind of prevents things like fatality and the such, making sure our discard pile isn't touched by our opponent. Then we got 3, Arranging a Deal. It's a Desperation E, draw a card. It's a 1/6 with a 2 mid block. This just says if we hit Desperation, put more cards in our hand, kill our opponent faster. That's about all it says. 2 Cage Fighter. It's a 1/5 with a 3 high block. Respond flip. After your opponent makes a check to play a non-foundation card, that check gets -1. Basically makes our opponent commit things out, commit more things to slow them down or hopefully end their turn. So that way we don't have to deal with big problem attacks all the time. We got 4 Worthy Vessel. It's a 1/5 with a 3 high block. E, flip, remove 1 card from either player's discard pile so we can remove things that we don't have to deal with later. Or we can remove things from our discard pile if our opponent's been using our attacks for something or are copying things and stuff like that. We can do cool things. Then E, once per turn, lose 1 vitality. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. This just says once per turn we can buff things and put ourselves closer to desperation and continue to do cool things. We got 2 Profane Sanctuary. This just prevents Breaker as well as mills our opponent a little bit. Speeds up the plan B option if we ever get there, but we're not looking to get there. It's a 0/5 with a 3 high block. After your opponent respond flip, after your opponent plays a Breaker ability, cancel it. And then the last card is Uniting Rebels. It's a 0/6, 3 mid block, Desperation E, once per turn, gain a vitality. That's just it, guys. It says if we ever hit Desperation, we get to float there a little longer than our opponent would hopefully anticipate. Thanks again for checking out the profile, guys. If you like Jeff's Scorpion deck, let him know down below. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGU University. And as always, guys, stay learned.